bending fret wire through the neck through. That's how it bends it. 12-inch radius on the fretboard. I like to overbend my wire just a tiny bit. Helps it to stay down, the ends to stay down on the fretboard. And I've got 2 coats of that Minwax tongue oil on the fretboard right now. It's coming out pretty good. I'm going to put 1 more on there, and I'll call it a day on the tongue oil for the fretboard. I've also been doing some experimenting with turquoise and copper. And here's what I came up with for the truss rod cover. Can't really see it in the dark in here, but there's copper in there. This has only got 1 coat of the tongue oil on it right now. Hopefully it'll pop a little bit more as time goes on. I'll show it in bright light and you can see it, definitely see it then. And then I made a nut that's made out of antler. This right here. And I like using antler. I like it better than using actual bone. I don't know, it just seems to shape better. So that's made. This guitar is going to have what they call a 0 fret. So a 0 fret will be going here. I was going to use stainless, but the stainless wire I have is not as tall as my jumbo medium wire I got here from StewMac. And here's some stainless wire that I got from somebody else. And it's not as tall as this wire, so that won't benefit me. So I'll end up using all this wire on the neck instead of putting this. I was wanting to put stainless up here, but I think it'll be fine. So I'm building this guitar for myself. It's not one that's going to be for sale. And in fact, none of my guitars are for sale right at the moment. So anyway, I'll bring you back in. All right, frets are going in. So far, so good. Sure changes the way the guitar looks when you start putting frets in. Here they are with the frets in it. Here it is without the frets in it. So it's going in. What I do, I bend 3 strands of that wire I get from StewMac at a time, because you'll end up using you end up using 2 and part of another one. And what I found out is I used to cut them all to length and then try to hammer them in, and that gets to be kind of cumbersome trying to hold it and hit the hammer and everything. So I found if you just use it full length like this, like that right there, you lay that across your fret spacing right there. Go ahead and hammer that in a little bit, and then cut it off, and then finish hammering in after you cut it off. It just goes a lot faster. It's easier to handle. The wire's not trying to twist on you and all kinds of neat kind of little things. And you can cut it off pretty close to the fretboard. And so once these are in, what I'll do now after that is come back in and file and sand all these flat. And then I come back in. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to go ahead and just leave them straight up and down or put an angle on them. I usually put a little angle on them. I was thinking about on this one, I'm just going to leave them flat just for GPs. Try it out, and if I don't like it, I can always change it later. You know, there's no, it's just fret work. And one of my most disliked part of building guitars, I don't like doing frets. I admire you guys out there that really have it down to an art. And so this one's going pretty quick right now, so I'm gonna go ahead and continue on, and I'll be back later on. Bye. What I'm doing is checking to make sure I don't have no space underneath the fretboard in that fret. Sometimes when you're beating them in, sometimes these will loosen up on you back here. And again, this wood that I used for the fretboard is some of that really hard wood that I've been using. It's like working with steel. So I have to hit it a little harder than I normally do to get it to go in there, which means I shouldn't have to use any glue on my frets. What I do is I just start off on one end and just work my way down. You're supposed to hammer this side in, then this side, and you come in the middle and hammer it back out. But you know, I've done so many of these, it doesn't seem to matter. I do have a fret wire press, but it only works on maple and other softer woods, ebony, and this kind of wood. It's made for my drill press, and it's okay, but hammering them in to me works just as good, because once you're done, you still have to do a fret level. And like I said, I've only had 2 guitars that I've fretted where I made the necks from scratch. That once the frets were in, I didn't have to level them. And only 2 out of 100 guitars. So the odds of your frets being uneven are high. And it may be different if I had one of those fret presses that's made for this. You know, they put a lot of pressure on them. But my drill press just gives too much, and I'm afraid of breaking my drill press more than I am putting in the frets. I'd rather hammer them in. And as you can see, I got to brush out a little bit of the dust. Even though I cleaned these, it's amazing when you get to beating on stuff how much dust comes flying out of things. But see, doing it this way, leaving the wire long, if you are observing this, it's a lot easier to stay in control of your wire than trying to put in them short pieces. You can see how fast this is going. And there you have it. So now what I'll do now is I'll come back and begin to file these off with a file, probably maybe this one, this file here. See how that goes. But anyway, that's it. That's when it really starts to look like a guitar. With all the frets in place. Here it is with the antler nut. With my truss rod cover. This, of course, will get all trimmed down, this antler nut. Once it gets glued into place, before that I'll trim this down some more. What I'll do, I'll use my flat pencil and draw a line across here. That'll tell me how much of that nut I can file off. And then I'll cut some grooves in it. And all this nut's going to do is for the just to keep your strings, give your strings a guide against that 0 fret. And again, that's the first time I ever used. This is the first time I've ever used a 0 fret on any of my guitars. So it's going to be interesting for me to see how this works out. If I don't like it, then I'll cut take the fret out, cut the fretboard off, and move my nut up in place where that 0 fret is at. But we'll see. It should work out all right. A lot of people out there have success with this. I'm looking for super low action on my guitar when it's finally done. We'll see how that goes. And but I'm excited over this guitar. Lots more to go. I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to put turquoise in here. Where are we at? Over here. There we go. And over here, I may go with turquoise and copper. I've been experimenting with some copper and stuff, copper dust. That's kind of what it looks like. This has actually got copper dust all over it, but not in the light. You can't really see it that much. So I always promote experiment before you do anything. I did put some in that truss rod cover with some copper in there and stuff. I'm not done clear coating it. And but anyway, I'm going to start filing these frets. I'm not going to show that on camera. This has already gone over too long. I'm going to have to do a lot of editing here. But anyway, that's it for right now. Once I get these all ends filed, then we'll go to the next thing, whatever that it's going to be. I'd like to try, while the weather, the rest of the week is supposed to be around 78, 79 degrees out here, which is kind of unusual. But anyway, I'd like to get this, start getting this in the clear coat. So hoping that's what's going to happen with the next couple of days. So be sure to keep checking in on me. And again, give me a thumbs up. When you're looking at the video, it only takes a second just to hit that button. And if you have any questions, just ask me. If I can answer it, I'll answer it. I won't leave you hanging. But anyway, I'll catch you all later. Bye.